Well, just in time for going live, my dogs go completely crazy because they've spotted some coyotes. What are the odds? Well, they're 100%. Ooh, boy, oh boy. The Department of Efficiency is running now. Wow. Imagine a world without the Fed. We could talk about that. There have been a couple things that have happened. Some comments in the live were filtered to protect the community. Yep, it's amazing. I will do that from time to time. It's been a hell of a week. More likes attract more viewers. So thank you for all the likes. Don't forget to join. Don't forget to be a follower. It sounds weird when I say that. I still don't like that, the way that comes out. But yes, it definitely helps the algorithms. Okay, let's see. Oops, I hit the wrong button on that. Let's go back and let's hit the right button on that. Zero hedge. What's going on? Okay, so if you're a Republican, you know that everything's fine. There are no problems, mostly. Okay, that's not true, but there are still some serious problems. Um, but they've gotten a lot better. Now, if you remember last week, I said that if Trump gets elected, I will make half as much next year as I would if what's her face? I can't even remember her name now. If she got elected, well, let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. I believe that we are at about $30, $30 on. Let's see. $30 on where are we at? Futures. Let's go to silver. Okay, where are we at on silver? $30.20. And where were we 1 month ago? Let's see. Well, we were just about there a month ago, but we did manage to get all the way to $35 at one point. Yep, 35. And then it just started to slide a little bit. Strangely enough, most of that fell right after November 5th. So kind of saw that one coming. Oh, I'm definitely going to start this live stream over. I totally seized up. Let's do this again. And now okay, congratulations. I had nobody on there. Let's start over. And let's get this TikTok going correctly. And okay, there we go. Now, 3, 2, 1, we're live, and we're still live streaming on. Yep, we're still live streaming. TikTok is jacked up again. Yes, it is. Well, let's hope that this second time around it'll actually do a little better. All right. And my cord's not long enough. I have the wrong cord. And that's because I was traveling all week and I don't have the right cord. So this won't be a super long live stream because I'm going to lose you guys shortly. But it's been a week. It's been a hell of a week. I haven't seen you guys since last week. My TikToker's there, TikToker 2006. How are you, buddy? All right. So let's jump into this. So since the last time we spoke, we had what was that? Are you headed to YouTube? Now, I'm on YouTube right now also. But I'm also I also since last time had what are those things called? An election. Uh-oh. Did I freeze again? Boy, oh boy. I am freezing up on TikTok. Why is that? Come on, TikTok, help me out here, guys. Why are you being so weird? What is up with that? All right, let's try this again. All right, let's man, TikTok, you are being a real pain in my ass. All right, let's see. Then we got oh, I see. All right, now let's cancel that and let's say if I can do the live with it says 11 people. Seriously, TikTok, you guys are really starting to get on my nerves. Really starting to piss me off here. And it says I've got a good, strong signal too. So the only reason I'd be jacked up is because somebody's pissed off at TikTok and they don't want me squawking on a live stream anyway. All right, let's end the live stream again. For God's sake. In the name of all that's holy, would you please let me go live?
Tunguska, Siberia.
Tunguska, Siberia. I know all about Tunguska, boys. I want to tell you guys about all the cool stuff. I'm Marion Mesa. I want to tell you guys about all the cool stuff that's gone on in the last week. It's been a hell of a week, as you can see, based on the lack of shave. It's been a long week. I drove 2,790 miles. That was a long drive, but I did it in a brand new Mustang convertible, so that made it a little easier. That was kind of fun. Okay. Wow. I've got according to TikTok, I've got 5 people on there. Setting records tonight, huh? Oh, Jesus. What do you do? All right. So, this really sucks. It really sucks that I can't go on TikTok and get everybody to go over to HowTube or YouTube. HowTube's my company. YouTube is they're the big boys. All right. Well, then, shit. Now what? Well, let's talk. Let's talk anyway and see if these guys get their shit together over at TikTok and stop blocking me. I guess this is what a shadow ban's supposed to feel like, right? Okay. Let's see. Gates resigns effective immediately after Trump AG pick. What? Wait a minute. What? Is that a joke? No, that's got to be a joke. What? According to House Speaker Mike Johnson, Gates has resigned. I think out of deference to us, he issued his resignation letter effective immediately of Congress. What? That caught us a little by surprise, but I asked him what his reasoning was. He said, well, you can't have too many absences. So under Florida state law, there's about an 8-week period to select and fill a vacancy. And so by doing so today, that allows me, I've already placed a call to Governor DeSantis and said, let's start the clock. And so we're going to talk first thing in the morning about this. If we start the clock now, if you do the math, we will be able to fill the seat as early as January 3rd when we take the new oath of office for Congress. What the fuck? What? I don't understand. Oh. Okay, I was totally out of the loop, guys. I didn't see the rest of that. Okay, here we go. Attorney General. Oh, shit. Matt Gaetz, Attorney General? Oh, my God. Okay. Well, hi, welcome. Welcome to me finding out what the fuck is going on in the world today, because obviously I've been on a road trip, went out and met some clients, had a really great meeting with a guy in North Carolina who will remain anonymous, but needless to say, not only is he a client now, but he makes some pretty goddamn good moonshine. How do I feel about this election? I feel pretty good. I feel really good. Trump taps Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. That one thing alone makes me extremely happy, because when people say, well, you're a white middle-aged male, you'd never vote for a woman. I would have voted for Tulsi Gabbard over Trump. I would vote for Tulsi Gabbard anytime, anywhere, any day. She is just an absolute genius. She is a titan mentally. I see 220 on TikTok. Yeah, we finally got up there. We finally got in there. Albie, how are you, buddy? Let's see. Got some good people doing real things. Yeah, I mean, just this. Look, I just clicked on Zero Hedge for the first time in 8 days. And, the first thing I see is Matt Gaetz, Attorney General, Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. Holy shit. Like, these are people who have teeth. These are not swamp creatures. This is what I was hoping would happen, because Trump went in there completely unprepared to be president last time. And because of that, he took the advice of a lot of people that he thought he could trust. And because he took the advice of a lot of people who didn't necessarily give a shit if he looked good or not, they just wanted to get their friends and neighbors involved, and other swamp creatures. It made for a very rocky start for him. And the idea of having Mike Pompeo in your cabinet, when he picked Mike Pompeo, I was stunned. I thought, what is he thinking? Like, this is not, you don't do that. But the reality is he just said he would not have Mike Pompeo in his cabinet this time. Lesson learned. So he's had 4 years to analyze what the swamp creatures actually did to him. How when he got in there and tried to hug an octopus, the octopus decided when that hug was going to be over with. This time, he's not making the same mistake. So that's awesome. As I said, and this was months ago, I told you guys that I had figured out a way that the economy and the United States could possibly survive what we're going to go through anyway, which is a shit recession. We're going through it no matter what. Trump can't keep us from a recession because we're already in it. All of the technicals say that we are in a recession, period. So you can't say, well, Trump was elected, no more recession. That's not how it works. That's like saying, hey, now that we've got this aircraft carrier up to 45 knots, let's whip a U-turn. Okay, it can be done, but not without miles and miles of ocean in front of you, because you just don't whip a U-turn in something that big. Same thing with the United States economy. You don't turn it around overnight. We're going to have 18 to 24 months of absolute shitstorm, if not a depression. Exactly. And Trump has not said he's gonna cut spending. Well, if you're not going to cut spending, then we're going to continue to have the same problems we had, except what you spend money on is extremely important. If you spend money on bombs and bullets, they get used and you have to spend more to replace them. Where's the profit in that? Well, for the country, there's zero profit. For a select handful of very, very wealthy men, there's a huge profit, the military industrial complex. And of course, Halliburton and all the companies that go in after the fact and clean up the devastation. This, on the other hand, is money that if you spend it stimulating the economy, building the United States back again from where we were, and using common sense. I mean, look, the reality is this. We've got 3 or 4 years left before we're completely gone if we keep wasting money on stupid projects that don't work. Or we can face the threat of potentially global climate change over somewhere between the next 100 years and 1,000 years. Okay, well, you know what? I'd rather have 100 years to work out a problem than have 4 years to work out a problem. That's where we're at. So, State Street, exactly. Yeah, screw those guys. Let's see. Joe Rogan has changed American history. I do believe that. I've seen numbers now as bad as 54% of MSNBC viewers have left. They're done. Why do you think everyone said this election was going to be close when Trump won by a landslide? Well, I don't think that everybody said it was going to be close. I think that the polling now, we hear insiders from the Democratic Party that say we knew it was going to be bad, but nobody wanted to talk about it. And there is no climate change. Well, there's always climate change. Since 4.5 billion years ago, there's been climate change. There's always climate change. And there will always be climate change. Now, the question is, do cows farting actually make the climate warmer? Do we have to get rid of all dairy farms? Do we have to get rid of all of the cattleman industry? Do we have to get rid of all of the industrial production in order to save the planet? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And that's only because I go to the IPCC website all the time and I study what they say, and I see how completely, utterly wrong they've been for 10 years now. Just utterly wrong. Well, hello again, Mary and Mesa. Are you on both? Wait. Okay. I sent you a message on TikTok a while back. That's the reason I didn't get it. That's the problem. I get tons and tons of messages there. If you want to just send me a text, what do you think about Project 2025? I don't think about it. Trump doesn't think about it. I don't think about it. It's, Project 2025 is one of those things. It's one of those albatross deals where it's like, hey, look, we've got an idea. Let's do this. Okay, no. But we're a bunch of powerful conservative Christians. Okay, no. No, it's too radical. It's just too radical. Oh, there might be a couple of good ideas in there. I don't know. I'm not going to read it because what's the point? Look, I trust when I see things like Tulsi Gabbard, Director of Intelligence. Wow. Like, okay, I'm just going to let Trump do what Trump's going to do right now because it seems like he's learned his lesson. He had 4 years to study and do a post-mortem on what the fuck went wrong with his first presidency. And there were a lot of things that went wrong. And I think he'd be the first to admit that the biggest problem he had was when he says drain the swamp. Well, okay, if you want to drain the swamp, that's great. But first of all, where's the drain plug? Find the drain plug first. But secondarily, understand that swamp is full of very, very dangerous swamp creatures. And they're not stupid. If you think that Chuck Schumer is stupid or Nancy Pelosi is stupid or Mitch McConnell's trying to have a coup right now. And his coup is if I get secret ballot, if I get my number 2 guy, to run the Senate, then I can basically keep Trump from getting anything done. What? But you're a Republican. He's a Republican. Like, you guys could make some major historic changes. But, here's the thing. When you look at Mitch McConnell, what you see is a swamp creature. You see a guy whose wife was the Secretary of Transportation, even though she's Chinese and her family owns the largest shipping company in China, which means if you own a company that big, you are part of the Communist Party, period. You don't get to be part of the Chinese industrial revolution without being part of the party. So is she loyal to the United States when her entire family and her father runs the largest shipping company in China? I don't see how that's possible because as Secretary of Treasury, she's got a fair amount of power. But as the daughter of one of the wealthiest men in China, if she does what she's supposed to do, what she's told to do by her father, she stands to inherit literally tens of billions of dollars. Well, who are you going to listen to, especially if you're a swamp creature? So Mitch McConnell has been bought and sold so many times, nobody knows who owns that guy anymore. He's like that asshole from South Carolina. What's his name? Oh shit! I block his name from my mind because I hate the guy so much. He's such an asshole. Oh shit! What's his name? God, I hope he gets ousted too. Not Claiborne. Lindsey Graham. Yes, that piece of crap. My God. What an absolute shill that guy is. Like, literally, he is for sale to the highest bidder. I could see why Democrats would absolutely despise that man because, look, as a diehard conservative, not a Republican, but as a conservative, I can't stand the guy. I mean, look, if you want to start a war, start a war. If you're the leader of a country and you decide to go to war, go to war. But don't come to me and ask me to pay for it, and don't ask me to send my kids. It's not my country. It's not my war. I have no interest in that. So apparently, and here's the thing, this is what I don't understand. How does Lindsey Graham get reelected? Knowing what they know about him now, knowing that he is absolutely corrupt to the core, that he is absolutely a psychopathic killer who wants to kill Russians by giving Ukraine more missiles and more bombs and more bullets. Why? What exactly did the Russians do to us that's so fucking awful that we want to kill their young men and women? And by the way, it ain't working anyway. The newest numbers are 700,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed. Can you wrap your heads around 700,000? That's a major U.S. city completely gone. Yeah. No, there's absolutely zero chance that any of those guys. You think Mitch McConnell would have any of his family participate in any of that crap? Who do I think is going to run in 2028? Well, I know who's going to run. Harassment and bullying. Look at that. I got a warning for harassment and bullying because I'm bullying Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell. Let's see. Has an autocrat for a leader. So what? It's none of your business. If the Russian people, 85% approval rating, those aren't their polls. Those are our polls. If he's an autocrat and the people, and by the way, you don't understand Russians clearly. They love the idea of having a strong leader, somebody who says, this is the way it's going to be. And that's the way it is. Russians are different than us. We got a little bit of a hard on for the idea of no. We make the decisions here, even though we don't. Yep. Well, that's true. There are a couple wars going on right now, aren't there? And all of them suck. But that's just my opinion as a guy. They have no choice, bro. Who has no choice? Yes, that's true. The highest amount of psychopaths in the world are, and some of you are going to hate this number, clergy, law enforcement, politics, and there was one other. I'm missing one. There were four. Corporate CEOs. We are a republic, not a democracy. Well, that's true. Henry. Oh, thank you. Forgot about that. See, that's what happens when you've been gone for a week. You forget little things like your cactus. Okay, so let's see. So much stuff has happened. I mean, holy smoke! But you guys see why people trust me with buying precious metals? Because I said if Trump wins, I'm going to lose money. Boom, just like that, right off the bat. And the thing is, I don't mind. I really don't mind the idea of not making as much money next year because people aren't terrified. On the other hand, a lot of good stuff going on too. And I saw this coming, so I have a backup plan, of course. I will always be in the bullion business. But I will also now be doing a lot of podcasts, setting up a podcast. I just hired a producer today. I was on Randall Carlson's. Well, it's a good time to buy silver for the next couple of years just because Trump can't stop what's happening. He can only sort of alleviate the end result. The end result's going to be now that we're going to come out of this, in my opinion, that there are going to be enough benefits to opening your own business again that Americans start to manufacture things. They start to build things because an economy is simple. It's very, very simple. It's two things. It's goods and services. That's it. Goods and services. What else is there? So if you work as a programmer, that's a service. If you build computers for that guy to program, well, those are goods. So we need goods and services. All we really have is a service economy. That's way, way too much of our economy right now. However, if we start building things here because of tariffs, and do I want to punish the Japanese? No, they're our allies. Do I want to punish the Chinese? Maybe a little for stealing from us so much. Do I want to punish the Germans? Shit, no. The Germans are already being punished. Their economy is absolutely collapsing. That's it. That's it. Well, goods and services and trade. What are you trading? Goods and services. It's kind of redundant, but I like redundancy. It's good, especially if you're in a helicopter. Service only is too dependent. That's exactly right. That's the problem, is that guys like Al Gore, who back in 1992 argued, 1991, I guess, argued with Ross Perot and said, no. If we sign NAFTA, it's going to be a cakewalk for us, because what we're going to do is we're going to be the people who manage everything. What? Oh, the whole world's going to manufacture stuff for us, but we'll be in charge of it. Basically, America will become the world's management. Yeah, that didn't happen, but we knew that wasn't going to happen. Ross Perot said it wasn't going to happen back in the early 90s. He said that their standard of living would come up and ours would come down until we had a mean. Oh, well, that's exactly what's been happening the whole time. All of these other economies that manufacture for us have been rising and rising, and we've been falling and falling. Look, the price of goods and services have gone up by hundreds of percent in the last 20 years. How much has our income gone up? The average income in the United States, 11% in 25 years. 11%. What? How the fuck are we supposed to survive? If everything costs hundreds of percent more than it did in the year 2000, and we're only making 11% more, how exactly are we supposed to survive? Because let's face it, in 2000, things were fine. Things were good, but they weren't perfect. Not everybody was super rich. There were a lot of people that were comfortable, affluent. But look, you can't change the numbers that much without affecting a huge amount of people in the country. And that's exactly what they did. They said, hey, don't worry about it, because, we're smarter than everybody in the world, and we'll just be the management team for everybody. How'd that work out for us? Well, I'll tell you exactly how. Let's see. We're at $36 trillion now. Well, it's hyperbole. I don't want to exaggerate. We're at 35,996 billion. So we won't hit 36 trillion for probably till tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. That tariffs. Well, the idea is, if people want to sell their products in the United States, great, but they're going to have to pay for that privilege, and they're going to do the same thing to us. Well, here's the problem. Everybody in the world manufactures shit except us. So how are the tariffs going to affect us? They're not as much. But when you look at somebody like China, you want to sell all that cheap garbage. You want Temu to take over the entire country? Great, pay for it. That's all. And what are we going to do with that money? Well, how does this sound? No personal income tax. Can you even fucking imagine if the first 4 months of every year you worked for yourself instead of working to pay taxes? It's no coincidence that April 15th is tax day, because that's just about when you break even. All the money you make between January 1 and then pretty much goes to the government in one way or another. Now, I find that a sick joke, but it's really not a joke at all. We pay the tariffs. If you want German products or you want Chinese products, doofus, that's the whole point, is that you'll have American products instead. And because the tariffs are massive, we won't seem like our products are as expensive. And that's how you spur industry. Well, that, and get rid of all the 60,000 regulations that this piece of shit government has come up with since 1984. Yeah, 60,000. How crazy is that? The United States Congress makes laws. It says so in our Constitution. They pass approximately 155 laws per year. On the other hand, three-letter agencies pass about 1,500 laws per year, and they have for the last 40 years since Chevron deference. That means that there are 60,000 laws that are illegal. Yeah, because what's a regulation? It's a law. If it's backed by the full weight and power of the federal government and guys with body armor and guns, that's a fucking law in my opinion. So there you go. That's funny. Tariffs are BS. I will see. You don't study history. That's clear. You mean like seatbelts and airbags? Really? Seatbelts and airbags? You think those are the regulations that I'm talking about? Seatbelts. I'm pretty sure that was the early 70s, maybe late 60s. I'm talking about things like if you are a fisherman and you have a small fishing boat, you have to pay the EPA $700 a day to have someone from the EPA on your boat at all times. How the fuck do you make any money that way? You don't. I'm talking about stupid regulations put in place so that people with badges can justify their own existence. I'm talking about things like the state of New York going out with 10 guys and destroying a guy's house so that they can catch and kill his squirrel. Those are the types of regulations I'm talking about. I'm talking about government overreach, not seatbelts, meathead. For as much as the Chinese? No, absolutely not. You can't. You can't work for as much as the Chinese. Do you think Trump is going to be able to enforce removal of censorship from the media? Absolutely. No question. There's no question. By the way, they censored that. How funny is that? Who said that? TikToker 2006 figures. Good question. And yeah, they censored that question. That's what I'm talking about right there. Do I think that Trump is going to be able to enforce the removal of censorship across the media? They censored that question. They got rid of all the regulations, bro. What? They got rid of 60,000 regulations because they overturned Chevron deference? No, that's not how it works at all. He's going to fleece America. Okay, well, you just keep thinking that. And when your taxes get cut, you can bitch. But, look, I'm talking about friends of mine that are nurses, mechanics. A buddy of mine that's a nurse said that when Trump took over, those tax cuts made him an extra $400 per week. He's a nurse. He's not a billionaire. He's not even a millionaire. Senate makes laws for them. The Senate makes laws. You haven't read the Constitution. Here, if you want to come to Cave Creek, I got a copy of it right here. You can see it's not even that thick. You should probably flip through it. This one's actually not just a Constitution. It's quite a bit of history about the Constitution. You might want to read that. Lagging. I'll bet I'm lagging. I'm talking about the Constitution. I always lag when I talk about stuff like this. I'm probably not lagging here, though, am I? No, I'm not. Not lagging on YouTube. Who do you think is going to... let me go back. Who do I think is going to represent Democratic Party as a presidential candidate in 2028? That's a very good question. They better find somebody. With the tax cut in any extra $75 a week. All right, $75 a week, man. So basically $300 a month. That's not bad. That's $3,600 a year. I love when people come out with a very general statement but no information or facts. Well, that's the easiest way to do it. If you're going to say something, make sure that it's nebulous enough that nobody can really argue with it. I saw where Thomas Massey, fucking love that guy. I love Thomas Massey. That's the guy I'm talking about. Whenever I say, oh, there's some guy from like West Virginia or some shit, it's Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey would not take an AIPAC representative. He didn't want an AIPAC babysitter. And man, AIPAC spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to get rid of him. They hate him, all because he wouldn't take his own personal AIPAC babysitter like every other representative in Washington, D.C. has. They each have their own individual handler from a foreign government. What? What the fuck is that? He made tax cuts for the rich, and they are permanent. Everyone's got to go back up like they are now. Everyone else's go back up. God, I can't even believe this guy. Federal Reserve has got to go. Absolutely. I like Kennedy too. Kennedy's a good old boy, but he's funny. I like some of his goofy sayings. The Federal Reserve does have to go. That one thing alone, if we could get rid of the Federal Reserve Bank, a privately held bank, a privately owned institution that sets our financial policies for us, that in and of itself would save our country. That would make us great again. Just getting rid of these that basically they're just leeches. They're just little vampires that suck the blood out of us. Look, they print money at interest. For what? What's the purpose of that? Why do they print money at interest? Well, because that way you can never pay back enough. No matter how much they print, you owe them more than they printed. It's a racket. It's a total racket. And by the way, that would kill the IRS. Absolutely. Well, look, man, this is what I'm talking about. We have a treasury to handle that. That's in the Constitution. Only Congress shall make money. It says that in the Constitution. I believe it's Article 1, Section 5, Clause 8. Just off the top of my head. Well, I guess I could look, couldn't I? Let's see here. Constitution of the United States. Article 1, Section 3, Section 5. Okay. Or is it Section 8, Clause 5? Wait, Section 8. There it is. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. Dyslexia is a bitch. Let's see. BS, he's dismantling the government so they can rule. Heritage, pay attention. I feel bad for you, man. I feel really bad for you because there are people like me out there who are actually good at economy, and I'm excited. And you got to ask yourself, why are all the people who are worried about the economy excited? You'll be able to get the podcast I did with Randall Carlson on Rumble, on my channel on YouTube, and probably on his channel on YouTube shortly. Let's see. Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises to pay debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. Where's Clause 5? To coin money, regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures. Well, that's interesting. So I guess that means that Congress is supposed to coin money. Well, that's weird because they don't do it anymore, do they? Did somebody say it does better under the Dems? I can't imagine that. What do I think about the idea of no tax on tips? I think it's a fantastic idea. Look, these people don't make a ton of money, man. If you were saying, look, no tax on Jamie Dimon, on CEOs, I'd say that's bullshit. But no tax on servers? I mean, goddamn, these people work their butts off. This is not a job you have because you dreamed about it. It's not your dream job. It's a job you take because you need money. All right, well then, let's pay them. You know what? I just realized something. Can I do this? Can I plug? I lost the cord that plugs into my phone. Well, I know where it is. It's somewhere in my travel gear, but I have a battery backup, and I plug this in there, and then I plug this into my phone, and then I don't have to worry about my battery going dead. Whoa, watch out there, Constitution. Oh, organization is keynote to success, or that's what my mom used to say, my stepmom. organization. I think organization is important, but I think communication is actually the keynote. Most do not get reported anyway. What? Who said that? Ron. Most don't get reported. They don't have to report it. They don't have to report their taxes or their tips. It's assumed by the state and the federal government that you make a certain amount of tips. That's why they don't get paid in a lot of states. Like here, they're trying to pass an amendment that says that you don't get minimum wage if you're, a server, because hey, no big deal. We don't have to pay you minimum wage because you make so much in tips. That in and of itself is a tax on tips. Put a delay on your audio so it matches up with your video. It's off by about 1.2 seconds. Shit, that figures. You can't keep making billions and millionaires from tax cuts. Oh, it's Mike again. Mike the Kamala Harris wannabe. South Carolina is that way. Yeah, see? Most tips are on cards. Exactly. And if they're on a card, there's no hiding that. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. It's one of those things where look, man, it's the government. They never let anybody get away with anything except themselves. They cut themselves all the slack in the world, and they just screw us at every possible turn. Only tip in cash. That is cool. Do that. You can show them over and over. They will just never listen. Yeah. Well, what do you do? It is what it is. Let's take a look at Zero Hedge. Gold is different. Trump may not be. Well, I know that Trump's going to spend a shitload of money, so I'm not thinking that silver and gold are done with. They're still going to make their run, and silver is still at 83 to 1 to gold, which is a price anomaly. That'll change. That'll get back to where it's supposed to be. Jack Smith to resign in defeat before Trump takes office. What are the odds of that? That's amazing that they're just going to drop the charges. If he really did it right, wouldn't they coercion for silver? I don't think there's going to be a lot of coercion based on the fact that they just made that illegal. Well, they didn't make it illegal. What they said was that now, whenever somebody tries to manipulate the market, they actually have to pay. Why do I think so many Latinos voted for Trump? Because they work their balls off. That's why, because they're hardworking and they're not stupid. Look, the Latinos in this country are the backbone of a lot of industries like construction. And these people aren't stupid. As a matter of fact, Asians and Latinos have the highest income of any second generation immigrants, because they know they take the work hard and then they put it together with, my kids go to college and get degrees as doctors or engineers or something. And because of that, their second generation is extremely successwul. Latinos kick ass, man. And that's why they voted for Trump. They didn't buy the bullshit. Look, I thought it was so offensive that they were like pandering to black people. Like, oh, look, you need us. You need us because, we're going to help you. But the other side, they won't help you. And it's like, wait, are you actually trying to imply that black people in this country need help because they're what? They're not as good. They're not as smart. They're not as hardworking. What are you implying? Like, what are you saying when you say that a black man has to vote for Kamala Harris? Because he needs that extra help from the government. Because they're not like us. What the fuck is that? That's the most racist message I've ever seen in my life. I don't understand it at all. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, look, I grew up in Hollywood. I was in the Marine Corps. I don't know if half the Marine Corps is black, but there's a shitload of black people in the Marine Corps. Not stupid. They're no different than anybody else. So why do they get pandered to by the Democrats? Oh, don't worry. We'll give you handouts. We'll help you. They don't need help. Shit, a lot of them don't want help. That's why Trump won. because this pandering bullshit is just garbage. It's sad. Well, nobody believes him anymore either. Yeah, that helps. In correction in silver market. Well, we've already had it. We had the Trump bump, which was down, and I knew it was going to be. That's why I've been saying, if you go back and look at my podcast on YouTube, all of these nightlies that I do, I told everybody I'm going to make less next year than I would if Kamala Harris wins, probably by half. That's okay. Half of what I would have made is still going to be plenty. That I'm going to be just fine. But if I had made twice as much because Kamala Harris was president, it would have been out of fear. Everybody would have been freaking out, scared shitless, and I don't want that. I like this feeling. I like what I'm seeing here. What I'm seeing here is I'm seeing a conservative movement that won, and the way that they won, they have this sense of humor about it. They've got this sense of joy. They're not angry. They're not shitting on the Democrats. They're simply laughing at some of the insane things that I see from Democrats, screaming and crying and oh my God, and the Robert De Niro's of the world that are just completely insane. Like, look, man, the guy was already fucking president. It's not like this guy came out of nowhere with a little mustache and a German accent and said, "Don't worry, I'll fix it." No, he was president before, and we saw what he did before. The only difference is, Tony Fauci, you better watch your ass, pal, because you lied. You lied, and we got the emails. We got the fucking receipts. We've got the receipts. We see all of the manipulation that went on. All of the backpedaling, all of the made up regulations. 6 feet? Why? I don't know. Just sounds good. Lockdowns? Why? Because one of the people that works for you called and said that in Australia, they had done lockdowns and it seemed like it was working. It seemed like it was working. Is that science? No, but you know what? Let's try it. So Tony Fauci went to the president of the United States and said, this is what we need to do. And the president of the United States trusted this titan of science and said, okay, we'll do what we need to do to keep the American people safe. I trust you. And they made a fool out of him. Not something I would do. Trump lied bigly. Wow, Eric. Well, I got to tell you, that public grade school education really paid off for you. You believe the Fox fools. You don't go to the CDC website much, do you? Yeah. Did you know that ivermectin is now an approved treatment for COVID-19? You know, the ivermectin that was horse paste that the mainstream media said Joe Rogan was a complete idiot for taking because it was horse paste? Did you know that it's now officially on the CDC website an approved treatment for COVID-19? Explain that one. Explain that one, Mike. How's that work? How'd that happen? Hydroxychloroquine, approved treatment for COVID-19, CDC. You haven't gone to the CDC website, have you? Mike, you're just spouting BS. Give me some hard facts or go somewhere else, big boy, because I don't debate with idiots. Now, if you want to talk, if you want to give me something, give it to me. If you want to give me some facts, show me how I'm wrong. Because my whole thing on this TikTok is about learning. So if you're going to just spout Rachel Madcow's ignorance at me, do it. But I'm going to block you. I take ivermectin every weekend. I don't know. That seems like a lot, but some people do have a reaction to it. Oh, somebody got blocked. Hold on. AKA mind washed. Oh, you got blocked for that, Jacques. Let's see. Do I think that Joe Rogan changed the results of the election, or did Trump already have it? I don't think it. I certainly don't think it hurt. I really don't think it hurt. I give you facts. Give me a fact, then, knucklehead. You're just saying stupid things. Give me a fact. So what's your fact? What did Trump do that was so awful? How did Trump lie? I just explained to you how Tony Fauci lied to the entire world. I gave you examples. Give me examples. Stop just talking to yourself. And by the way, Joe Rogan definitely didn't hurt. That was a brilliant thing, because 3 hours, look, you can't hold character for 3 hours. I mean, it's possible, but it was obvious that he just came in, sat down, did his thing. And then, of course, to have the Veep come on and sit down for the same amount of time, that's just awesome. I believe the same thing. And the reason I believe that is because I've been watching the Senate subcommittee hearings where they drag Fauci in and they say, did you fund gain of function research? And he says, no. And then they prove that he did fund gain of function research. I mean, there are so many things that people don't know about what happened with COVID that it's stunning. But guys like Mike are the same guys who are like, yeah, fucking, I'm pro-Ukraine. Why are you pro-Ukraine? Because Ukraine got invaded for no reason. Oh, no reason. So you didn't see how the United Nations was calling what the Ukrainians were doing to the ethnic Russians in the Donbass region potential genocide. You didn't see that for 8 years. No, they didn't do that. Oh, so you didn't watch CNN say that. You didn't watch MSNBC say that the Ukrainians were killing ethnic Russians, women, and children for 8 years, and that Putin went and signed the accords with them, and they did nothing. Went to the World Court, nothing happened. Finally said, look, if they don't stop killing Russians, I'll have to go in there. I don't want to go in there. I've got a 1.5 million man army. I'll send 90,000 guys to stop these people from killing Russians. That's it. And everybody said, oh, well, if it's 90,000, that's different. And then, of course, he did it. And everybody went, oh, my God, that was so bad. Why did he do that? The Ukraine war, definitely by its fault. No question in my mind about that, because there was a peace agreement that was signed. And by the way, this isn't my opinion. This is from the former head of the Israeli government. The former prime minister said that he had a peace deal completely agreed upon between Putin and Zelensky 3 months in. And then Boris Yeltsin showed up out of nowhere and said, nope, don't sign that or we'll turn our back on you forever. You'll never have NATO's approval. You'll never have the United States again. And then Russia can do whatever they want to you. So you better not sign that agreement. He was furious that NATO and the United States blew up that agreement. Uh-oh, what'd I do wrong? You got to be shitting me. Again, do you agree with this decision? Of course not. Misinformation. Are you fucking kidding me? Does not contain the content. God damn, you motherfuckers. I can't believe the amount of censorship. It's just fucking nonstop censorship. Like everything I just said was true. Everything I just said is an absolute fucking fact. In a global community, it's natural for people to have different opinions, but we seek to operate on a shared set of facts and reality. We do not allow inaccurate, misleading, or false content that may cause what? That may cause harm to individuals or society, regardless of intent. Significant harm includes physical, psychological, or societal harm and property damage. TikTok, you guys fucking disgust me. Absolutely pathetic.
Tunguska, Siberia,
oh well,
1908 was most.
So much for that. All right, so here we are live streaming on YouTube, and we're not getting censored. It's unbelievable. I just got kicked off again for telling the truth. I mean, literally everything I said was something that I literally looked up and verified. And by the way, those are not facts you'll see on Fox News. And the reason you won't see them on Fox News or MSNBC or anywhere else is because the entire government was pro-war. And so because they're pro-war, nobody's going to correct that shit. Nobody's going to say, oh, well, here's the truth. No, They don't want to talk about it. Russia invaded Ukraine for no reason. That's the narrative now. The thing that scares me the most is that everybody in this country just bought that bullshit like it was a fact. Like nobody remembered what the press was saying 2 months ago. 2 months, is that all it takes to change the narrative in the United States and have people believe utter complete bullshit? That's terrifying to me. That to me is how democracy ends. That's how a republic comes to its end. Is you say, "Oh no, that's not what happened," and everybody goes, "No, that's what happened." And you go, "No, that's not what happened," and you keep saying that's not what happened for 3 weeks, and then pretty soon everybody's like, "I don't think that's what happened. I guess you're right. I guess that's not what happened. I thought that's no. Oh no, 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 they're right. This is what really happened." And it's like, do do these people just not remember? I mean, goddamn, Putin bent over backwards. His biggest mistake was when Biden said, you know, our reaction will depend on how he goes in. If it's a full-on invasion of Ukraine, then that's going to require a response from us. However, if it's what he says it is, which is a special police action to denazify, and by the way, when I heard that term, I went, denazify? What the fuck? That's a strange term for Putin to come up with. Like, why would he say that? How many Nazis could there be? 12? So I started doing some homework. And oh shit, when I started really doing homework on the Azad battalion and I saw like the Nazi symbols that they wear on their uniforms, I thought, holy shit, there really are Nazis in Ukraine. Who knew? Well, obviously Putin did. So, I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, people just forgot, I guess. 2-3 weeks go by and they just don't remember shit, which I just can't really wrap my head around. But whatever. Bottom line is, it's been a hell of a week. Misinformation. Misinformation. They got me for talking about Ukraine and Russia, and apparently, Putin did invade for no reason whatsoever. I mean, we got from 2014 until 2022, we have records that show that he went to court. He went and he signed what were they called? The Minsk agreements, the Minsk Accords that were supposed to limit the amount of the not mafia. They're basically like mafia. All of the Azad battalion and all of those, the militias from being able to just go into towns. Literally, they were going into towns and just killing women, children, old people. And it was, the United Nations said that it was bordering on genocide now. Well, when the United Nations says it's bordering on genocide, and the people that they're killing are ethnic Russians, and your next door neighbor is Russia, knowing how Russians are, knowing that if somebody invaded, I don't know, let's say Puerto Rico, and they started killing ethnic Americans in Puerto Rico, American citizens, what exactly would we do? Like I just don't understand. We would do the same exact thing. We would massively overreact, actually. But he sent in 90,000 troops instead of 1 million, and he didn't just go straight into Kiev and lock down the entire country. He could have, but he didn't. He cut off the 20% that's the Donbass region where all the ethnic Russians live, and that was that. He did exactly what he said. And now here we are over 2 years later, and what's happened? Well, 700,000 Ukrainians have died. Probably 200,000 or 300,000 Russians have died. The average age of a Ukrainian recruit now for the army in the draft is 49 years old. 40 fucking 9. Are you kidding me? I mean, damn. I'm in damn good shape for a guy who's 59 years old. I would not want to go into combat. Not 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 unless I absolutely had to. If somebody invaded my country, then yes, I would go into combat. But other than that, there's no chance in hell I'd want to be a part of that, especially in a place like Ukraine, where right about now the temperatures are dropping down below freezing. Everything is going to be covered in snow and ice cold. And let me tell you something, just pulling the trigger on a rifle is a pain in the ass when it's 20 degrees below zero and there's a wind chill factor of minus 50. It sucks. It could have all been over after 3 months, but the United States didn't want it to be over. That's Joe Biden. I'm glad he's gone. And I'm very, very curious to find out if Zelensky had something on he and his son and the whole Burisma thing that perhaps they were using to get funding, saying, look, we don't want this to be public. You don't want this to be public. Help us. If the Russians win, we're going to have to do what they tell us, and when we might have to make all this public. Anyway, but the bottom line is it's been a hell of a good week, and a lot of good things have happened. The Randall Carlson thing is going to be really interesting because I don't think Randall's ever had a guest quite like me on there. He and I have been friends for years and years now, and when we talk, just the two of us, the thing that we both say probably the most is, well, I didn't know that. I say it to him 50 times in pretty much every conversation, and he says the same thing to me. But boy, did I get him a couple times on this podcast with I gave him a couple facts and he went, really? I didn't know that. And he actually got on his computer and looked it up and was like, wow, you knew that? I'm like, yeah, it's what I do, man. I study. I research. So when I'm not researching, the economy, well, what I do for fun in my off time, I research. Not much of a personal life, really, but I do a lot of research. So I do know, and we talked about a lot of things. What's funny is 2.5 hours in, we didn't get to finish. We didn't even get to finish. There was more. Actually, the two number one and number two that we were going to talk about, we didn't even get to talk about on this episode. So he said, look, you got to come back. We got to do another episode. So that's a very, very good sign. When Randall Carlson, who is, according to Joe Rogan, the most interesting guest he's ever had on, says, this was too interesting. You got to come back for another 2.5 hours. I think he did something right. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I can tell you that. So, all right, guys. Well, I am going to end my stream a little early, and I'm going to go hang out with my son because I've been gone for a week, and so we're going to hang out and watch a movie. So, you guys have a great night, and I will see you soon.